Audience of one. Welcome, everybody, to It Tastes Different Gaming Thought. We're going to do something a little different. I'm going to surprise these two knuckleheads with a just surprise topic, just to get thoughts and opinions on what I decide we want to talk about. I have the power. All right, so 1996, a little game came out that changed many, many things in the gaming industry. In 1996, that game series started a series that I deeply love. Even on their worst games, I've always loved their games. So here soon, the 9th one in the mainline series is coming out. And I am going to ask some questions to these guys to just get their opinions. Resident Evil 9 is coming out here soon. And I like this group because Nick is more on my end of this, loves Resident Evil, has played everything I have. Pat is not what you call a horror fan, but he did really like Resident Evil Village or 8 or Biohazard 8, whatever the hell you want to call it. So just some general questions on their opinion and their takes on this. So Resident Evil came out in 96, Biohazard in Japan, Resident Evil here, with its infamous FMV video at the intro and, the amazing line, Jill sandwich, and I want to know what their opinions are about what's kept that series actually going, because that series has been all over the place. They've had some really bad flops, sales wise. They've had some really interesting ideas and all that. And not too many game series have lasted as long as Resident Evil. Resident Evil, and I looked it up once, and I hope I'm remembering correctly, actually was the very first game to be called survival horror, because Capcom used to label what they called their games on the bottom of the cover boxes, RPGs, survival horror, things like that. So Resident Evil's had so many freaking games. So I'm going to run through the list real quick that Google pops up. Resident Evil Director's Cut, Resident Evil 2, excuse me, Resident Evil 3, Nemesis, Resident Evil Survival, Resident Evil Code Veronica, Resident Evil Survivor 2, Resident Evil Gaiden, Resident Evil 2002, that was the remake, Resident Evil 0, I just recently replayed it, and I forgot how good it was and hard. Resident Evil HD Remaster, Resident Evil Dead A, Resident Evil The Missions, Resident Evil Outbreak 2, Resident Evil 4, which that right there was the game that really kind of started really pushing it towards another direction away from survivor horror. Then you had Resident, excuse me, damn, can't talk. Resident Evil Deadly Silence, Resident Evil Umbrella Chronicles, Genesis, Resident Evil 5. That was the first game with co-op. Resident Evil Archives, Resident Evil Dark Side Chronicles, Resident Evil Mercenaries, Mercenaries versus Revelations, Operation Raccoon City, Chronicles, Resident Evil 6, which was the biggest downturn, but me and Nick recently replayed and enjoyed the crap out of it, even though it isn't fully a Resident Evil game. Umbrella Chronicles 7, then DLCs for 7 came out. Resident Evil 2 remake, Resident Evil Resistance, which was just a horrible experience. Resident Evil 3 remake, when the 2 and 3 remakes were fantastic. Village, which Pat really liked, I was really surprised because Pat did not like 7. He does not like jump scares at all. And then a bunch more DLC, then Resident Evil 4, remaster or remake, excuse me. And now we got Requiem coming up, number 9 in the mainline series. So that's a ton of games that have really kind of stretched various other genres, really. I mean, RPG a little bit, then you got just straight up action shooters and, rail shooters. So let's jump to Nick first, because I know he knows more probably about the series, but I want to get Pat's opinion too, because he's not a jump scare guy, but he knows the series well enough, I think. So Nick, what do you think has kept this series going on so freaking long? What really keeps this game alive in gamers' opinions?
Capcom.
Good answer.
All right, moving on.
Their love for money.
I mean, I think what really got it off the ground back in 96, was it?
Yes.
Is it was a first of its kind, right? It was the first survival horror. I mean, you could say like
it's kind of a self-title.
Alone in the Dark was maybe the first of a survival horror, or maybe even like, I don't know. I think Clock Tower came out before then. Yeah. So you could call that one survival horror too. But I mean, like, I guess maybe it was the first one that coined the phrase.
Yes.
But yeah, I mean, like Resident Evil was the first of its kind. And, I think Resident Evil 1, I don't know if it necessarily FMV video and stuff like that, but I mean, like graphically, it was really good. The PlayStation was really popular, and I think Resident Evil was a pretty big hit for the time because it was just unique. It was something different. And then people liked Resident Evil, but Resident Evil 2 is really where a lot of fans came into the series, right? The people that played the first one were excited for the second one, and then people that didn't play the first one, I think they had a lot more people come in and play the second one. Mm-hmm. The third one, still had its fans and everything like that, and then people coming in to play it. But then from there, you had a 4, right? And 4 really brought in, I think 4 brought in the Resident Evil fans that were already there, but also brought in the normies, right? The casual people.
Yeah.
That don't typically, because it was more action than survival horror, right? And so that really brought in those action people, and I think from there is really where Resident Evil got its footing, right? With I mean, they had some other spinoffs and stuff like that, but I think that's where it really got its footing, And I think also too, the director's cut for the very first one definitely helped it because when the game came out, PlayStation didn't have the DualShock, and they came out with the DualShock controller, and then they had like the Resident Evil Director's Cut DualShock edition, right, where you could use the DualShock, which made that game so much easier to play than using the directional pad, right? And so, and then you got Resident Evil 2, which really cemented things. I think Resident Evil 2 definitely. I mean, I love the first one; it's still one of my favorites. But Resident Evil 2, I mean, I remember playing the crap out of that game when I was a kid. Me and my brother used to play it all the time, and we beat it so many times. I even had the strategy guide for it, which I really didn't need, but like he didn't really play, but he would sit there and like read the strategy guide and tell me where like the items were and how to solve the puzzles and stuff. But he loved just doing that and watching me play, and I just loved playing the game. So we'd played through it like several times through Leon's campaign and through Claire's campaign and stuff like that. So I mean, sometimes you get sometimes you get lightning in a bottle, right? And I think for Capcom, Resident Evil is definitely that, right? It just hit that stride that Capcom, other companies out there have tried to do the same and can't seem to catch that same lightning in the bottle that Capcom did with Resident Evil. Like even Capcom can't, right? I mean, they had Dino Crisis, which is a great game, but they haven't remade that one. They've made some other survival horror type games, but they still can't seem to catch that lightning in the bottle like they did with Resident Evil. And other companies out there have tried to make their own Resident Evil type games, but still can't seem to capture what makes Resident Evil so popular. I mean, there are other survival horror games that I think are fun, but they're not as good as Resident Evil, right? I mean, even in my own thought, I've played a lot of them, and like, I know it's a shitty game, but I love Carrier on Dreamcast, which it's a horrible Resident Evil like game, but but I don't know, for some reason I find it to be stupidly fun. Even though it is a really bad game, but even then, like, I don't even think that company's around anymore. Like Jellicoe, I think, is what originally made that one, or I think it's Jellicoe or something like that. But like I said, I mean, other developers and companies out there have tried to redo what try to catch that lightning in a bottle like Capcom has with Resident Evil, and have not been successful. Now, not every Resident Evil game has been successful, though, right? They've had a lot of turds in there, but they've had a lot of good ones too. So, it's a hit or miss, but I don't think it's such an established franchise now, especially with the movies, and, love or hate the movies, the movies definitely made more popularity for that game. The merchandise out there and stuff like that, like the cartoon movies as well, like, or the animated ones, it definitely, that game has brought upon a life of its own. And, this is one franchise that Capcom, kind of like some of the other ones out there, that Capcom can milk the shit out of, which they do, and still make good money. Even if they shit the bed with a series, like, people will still play it. Like Resident Evil 6 is definitely not one of my favorite ones, but we've played through it twice. Resident Evil 5 is an all right game, but co-op is a lot of fun. And me and Shane have played through that millions of times and beaten that millions of times. So, it's like, yeah, I mean, I think with Requiem coming out, like, it looks really good. Be careful out on the internet, because there's some early copies out there. So spoilers are floating around. I've been trying to avoid any spoiler territory, because I hate spoilers, man. It's like, the thing about spoilers, before I go into Pat, like, I mean, what's the point? Then you might as well just not play the game. If you're going to read, like, what the ending is or what happened, like, even a movie or a game or anything, it's just like, you want to know what happens at the end? It's like, no, then I don't need to play it. Because if I already know what's happening at the end, what's the fucking point? I want to play it or watch the movie or play the game or read the book or whatever, because I want to be surprised as to what happens. If I already know what's going to happen, then I might as well just cancel my pre-order and say, well, that was good. because I don't give a shit at that point. I already know what's going to happen. It's not surprising, right?
Yeah, so it's like kids watching people play the games on YouTube and stuff. I never understood that. It's like, go play the effing game. Just
well, I mean, that's fine if you're not going to ever play the game. Like, if you plan on never playing the game,
then why bother watching? I mean, there
might be a game that you're interested in, but I mean, because I do that, and it's games that I'm interested in, that I find interesting, but I'm never going to play them. Right? There's never going to be a time I'm going to play them. I'm never going to have the time to play it. So, like, I'll watch someone else play it, because I'm like, I can sit there and have it playing on the background or whatever, or to the side of me while I'm playing something else, because I'm never going to play this game, or I think this game looks interesting, but not interesting enough for me to purchase it and actually play it. So, hey, they're playing it. I'll watch them play it.
I mostly watch games that people play games that I have played, just to see how they play it. Like, a lot of strategy games, I'll watch other people play, but
tips,
I'm not
tricks, speed runs.
I'm not going to watch somebody play a Resident Evil game. That's just not what I'm going to do for me.
Not one that I haven't played yet, at least.
No.
What do you think, Pat?
Yeah, what about you, Pat? What do you think keeps his games? Because
I have not heard of half of these titles.
So
I've not heard of half of these titles. So take what you will. Anything in the extended series that Shane had mentioned, I'm like, I have no clue that existed. Like, I've never heard of Evil Gaiden, and or Dead Aim or any of that stuff. I've never even heard of those games. And I don't consider myself a big Resident Evil fan. I like Resident Evil, some of them. Like, I played 1, 2. I did not play 3. I did play 4. I skipped 5 for whatever reason, I don't know. And then when 6 came out, I remember playing it going, I hate this combat, and didn't make it very far. And then I played 7 for just a short while. That one was just too creepy for me when they're like, go into the fireplace, and I'm like, nope, I'm done. go down to the fireplace and something jumps out. I'm like, I'm done.
Yep.
So it was just kind of creepy. You walk into an abandoned house, there's rotten food everywhere, and I'm just like, I'm done. I'm like, I play games to get enjoyment. I don't like games that give me anxiety, like jump scare anxieties. But I really did like 8. 8 was just an action combat-y kind of cool supernatural feeling game to me. It didn't feel like it was like jump scary or anything to me. It didn't feel that way anyway. It just felt like an interesting, cool story. And I am not one that knows much about the lore of Resident Evil outside of what you've seen in movies or what I played through in the games a little bit. I'm like, I don't know why these people are here. And I did play the remake, Resident Evil 2 remake. I did not play the third or the fourth one. I did not play the first one either. If they did they do a first one remake? I imagine they did, right?
Yeah, they did that
long time ago
for
right?
the Cube, for the GameCube, and then everybody else got it.
And I'll be honest, I am not sure if I want to play Requiem yet. It's not on my watch list or anything like that yet. I don't know how to feel about it yet. But I've also, like I said, I've never played any of these other like minor release titles. Like I don't know. I've heard you guys mention the Code Veronica stuff for the Survivor 2. Never played it.
Love that one.
But at the same point, anybody who's listened long enough knows I'm a little bit of a graphics snob. So I can't go back and play some of this stuff because I'm just completely thrown off my game because of the way it looks. I'm more, I always consider there's like a trifecta in games, and it's more than a trifecta, but it's, there's graphics, there's story, there's audio, there's gameplay, there's more that other people have. But in my opinion, for a game to at least start to hold my interest, you need to have good modern graphics and a good story and good gameplay. And audio is fourth for me, but like audio is first for Shane. For me, graphics is first, and then your story. Like I can't play a amazing story game. Now, that has changed a little bit over time. Like I played some 8-bit stuff that looks okay. That looks like kind of like you could tell it's old school, that it was designed to be retro, but they've had a really good story. And so I've been able to stay a little bit more intertwined. But what I mean is like old looking is like when you look at Resident Evil 1 and you're just like that blocky, like weird shapey thing. And you're just like, no, I'm out. I just can't bring myself to do it. And it's my hang up. I mean, I know it. But I've never played Outbreak. I've never played the Umbrella Chronicles, Dark Side Chronicles, Mercenaries, Operation Raccoon City. I've never played any of these things. I've never played. Was there a Resident Evil multiplayer game? That was probably not Resident Evil, was it?
Well, yeah, they've done a few of them.
No, like it was a game designed around multiplayer co-op.
Yeah, that was Outbreak and Outbreak 2.
Did we play one? No, that's something else. What was Revive? That's something else.
That was the one where you had, I think it was 4 survivors, and then you had like a map master who set the traps and stuff.
Yeah, okay. But yeah, like I said, so I mean, I played out of the main series. I've played, 1, 2. I skipped 3. I didn't play Code Veronica. I didn't play 0. I'll be honest, I can't remember 4, so I may not have played 4. That was the GameCube. I had a GameCube, but I didn't have a whole lot of games for it. And then I skipped 5. I know I skipped 5 because I looked at it and I'm like, yeah, that has, but 6, I remember buying it and being like, what is this crap? Like the combat completely changed from what I'm used to playing, and I just couldn't get into it. So, and then I didn't play Revelations, and I played a little bit of Biohazard, just a little bit, a skosh of it. I tried to. I went down in that basement in that fireplace. I don't know how many times, and I'm just like, okay, I got it. And then something would jump out. And I'm like, nope, back out. And I'm like, well, this is not a way to play a game, so I gave up on it. But like I said, I did not feel that the Village was that way. The Village just felt like an interesting, cool, supernatural story, and it wasn't like it was intending to just jump scare me. The story was interesting, and stuff like that. So for me, I'm not the biggest fan, but I have played a good chunk of their mainline series, and I don't think I played a damn thing out of their secondary, minor releases. I don't know what you want to call them, but they're not out of the main storyline. But if you ask me anything about the storyline, I don't have a fucking clue. I could tell you maybe a few people's names, what their importance is to the story. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, you know Bill, and that's all you really need to know.
I don't know Bill.
Okay, just making sure you didn't think of Bill. But
like I said, I don't know, and I've not been sold on Requiem, so I don't know where I'm at with that one. It sounds like Nick is. I mean, obviously, you guys are hot.
It's Resident Evil. I'm going to play it. So.
Yeah,
but what is it?
It.
What is it more? Is it more? I kind of like the original style where you have to find the key to open the door and come back, and I want more of that, and that's what the Village kind of was. It was like, oh, you need the key to get in that door. You need to do this before you can progress past there. I don't know what style this one's going to be in.
I think this one's going to float around how 8 is set up, kind of
I may give it a chance.
A to B, boss to boss, a little creep here, a little action there, which that was my only problem with 8. I wish 8 did have a little more on the horror side, a little more
and that would have probably pushed me away from it.
Yeah. And it would have. And they hit a good stride really with 8 because 7 was, even I jumped on 7 several times. But I think 8 found that really nice balance of not over scaring their gamers. Because
7 was just creepy. It wasn't as scary as much as creepy and like skin crawly creepy. Like the whole scene where you're all around the table and they're eating all the junk, and then you're sneaking around the house trying not to get caught and you're just like, come on now. And you're like
the hillbilly nemesis. Yeah. But I enjoy that to an extent, but Nick enjoys that way more than I do.
There's levels of masochism in the world, and Nick is like a level 10, which is the top, and you're probably an 8.
Fish hooks in his nipples when he's sleeping.
Yeah, you're like a 7 or an 8, and I'm like a 2. I don't want any part of it. It just depends on the game, right? Like I didn't want to pull, there are some games that some people say are scary, and I don't think are scary, but then, there's like, I liked Alan Wake up until they did the whole freaking swamp scene. And then I'm like, nope, I'm done. Where it just chases you through the swamp the whole time. And I'm just like, no, I don't want that.
Yeah. So
I guess I should say Alan Wake 2, because that was 2, the second one, where they did that whole thing where the things are jumping out of you at the swamp. And I'm like, no, I'm done. But like I said, I don't play games for that. I play games for like a really enjoyable story and a pick me up. I don't need to be wearing the brown pants when I'm playing a game.
I just wear a diaper. I do. It's so much easier. Speaking of which,
okay. You filled yours?
But no, so I picked the subject 1 because 9's coming out. 2, I know we've all played them. And Nick is definitely, a big Resident Evil fan. I just kind of wanted to know why, because not too many games have hit this amount of games and a series, even if really 9 or 10 of them are in your main line. Then you have all the offshoots, but not too
Final
many games.
Fantasy, right?
And that's really the only one I think that has any competition far as longevity.
As far as like series amount of spin-offs and numbered
but
entries.
what makes Final Fantasy different is Final Fantasy is never the same game. Well, virtually never the same game. You don't have true sequels to Final Fantasy except for when they did 10, 10-2, and then 13, 1, 2, and 3.
That's how they do it, though. They do like a 13, a number dash number.
Yeah, and they've only done that with 2 of the games in the series. So, but Resident Evil lore has continued throughout. Now, when you got to 4, that's when they brought in the oh God, I can't think of the name of the things they're called from the village. Crap, can't think of the name of that. But anyways, the characters, have, Leon's 87 now. I think Chris is in a nursing home, but it's still bringing back popping boulders. And Claire, they haven't done anything with since Code Veronica. As far as a mainline character, she hasn't done anything. But I think the series has done well because they've been able to.
And she was in Revelations too.
Oh, that's right. She wasn't, but that's not really a. Well, I guess technically, I think Revelations would be mainline. I mean, because you have the same lore. You
Yeah,
have
I mean,
same
there's spin-off
characters.
stories, but they do involve the main characters, right?
Yeah. But I think that's one thing Capcom has done, and you're right. What kept them going is Capcom. They've tried to reinvent. They've tried to tweak the genre, change the genre. Make all these different attempts to keep it relevant, and they've done a really good job of. 8, the last one, I've played through twice now, and I love it. I mean, it's done so well. I think what really makes Resident Evil, though, timeless, the whole series, is just characters. Every character is just memorable. And I'm talking enemies. I'm talking your main characters. I'm talking all of them. I mean, when you think of Resident Evil, the original, you think of those characters. You think about the bad dialogue. You think about, how they communicated, or even just how the storyline at the very beginning worked with the FMV and the dog chase, and they run into the mansion, and the just horrible, horrible voice acting of the original. But you think of those things, and the enemies in the original, and then 4, I think, really recaptivated that with the villagers and everything, and then 5, everybody thought, oh crap, they're getting racist because all the zombies are black now, and then the giraffe, everybody loves 6 because it looked like somebody at the zoo puffing on a giraffe wiener. They've done such a good job of just making your mainline games just traverse each generation. I mean, my son's played 1, 3, I think it was. So, which is not the best in the series, but still,
I mean,
I think
the game looks pretty.
The Requiem. Yeah, Requiem looks really good.
Have you both pre-ordered?
Yeah.
Nick, did you pre-order the deluxe edition?
Of course.
Yeah.
Did you get the deluxe? So you guys spent $80 on it. It's only $10 more, right? So
something like that. Yeah. It could have been 90. I just wish I could have got some of the cool stuff from Japan that they got, but it's okay. But I just wanted to
on PC, PlayStation. Xbox,
no, I got mine on Xbox so I could sit on the big screen and
Nick
PC.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Nick, everything's an Xbox for Nick. My Xbox is.
Well, Nick doesn't have an Xbox anymore, so
yeah,
I'd be surprised if he's got a PlayStation.
His phone's an Xbox. His PC's an Xbox.
I'm on an Xbox right now.
Yeah, it's Xbox chat.
I got my Xbox right here.
Yeah,
what are you talking about?
That new controller's missing some buttons.
Yep.
But I just kind of wanted to pick brains and kind of get thoughts about the game and the series and your opinions and your experiences on it, because the new one's coming out, and maybe Capcom will throw me a refund for bringing it up.
Well,
bring
if
out
somebody
Lost Planet.
if they're proactive, maybe we could have got reviewer copies of it.
Yeah, they will not bring back Lost Planet. I think the third one bombed so bad that they're scared.
That's because they fucked it up. They fucked it up with the third one.
I tell you what, our next little chat might just be about what they fucked up.
I'll
have to play Lost Planet 3 again.
Don't know what that game is.
You never played the Lost Planet series? Oh, girl, let me tell you, the first 2 were awesome.
Yeah.
Then they made 3. So, anyways, you guys made it to the end. Tell us what you think about Resident Evil, the series, everything about it that you love, hate, what's kept it alive. Are you excited for Requiem? Did you love 7? Did it make you wet yourself like Pat? Because he did wear the little brown pants with the yellow spots. So I ain't gonna lie, I pooed a little.
Got the pee strip on it that tells you when the diaper's wet.
Yep. But let us know in the comments below what you think about the series and the games and all that stuff. Just whatever you want to say about it. This was just all opinion pieces, so we want yours too. But don't forget to hit like, share, subscribe, notifications, all those good buttons to help keep you up to date. And we'll see you next time. See ya.